Video lesson here for two-way tables. This is our last kind of part here on our scatter plots that we're going to be taking about doing what a two-way table here is and what it involves to be done to be able to solve a two-way table. So what you have here is you have two pages. You have one page here in the front and the back that are your notes, and then you have another page here which are going to be kind of what you need to work on with using your notes as your homework to be able to turn in. Okay, so basically what we're looking here for on a two-way table is basically just relationships amongst different sets of data that allow us to display different things in categories, or we call what is called categorical data, or in categories. We can put things in categories, be able to allow us to be able to put us in categories, be able to find information that will be to lead us to answering these questions that are in categories. And what is a category? Well, a category here would be something like food and animals, colors, shapes, just anything that you can come up with. I don't know, shoes, there's different types of shoes, any types of things, cars, those types of things we can take categories of and be able to express our information in a two-way table. The one other thing you also got to know about a two-way table is that two-way tables allow us to see what is called the frequency. And what a frequency is the number of times something occurs. It allows us to be able to see that good information. So if I was to ask you a question about the frequency of a certain event occurring, we could be able to use a two-way table and be able to recognize if that's a very good category or if that's not a true category in this case. But that's enough talk about what a two-way table does, with our frequency, be able to tell us how many times they occur and put them in categories. Let's actually take a look at one. So what you have out here is a two-way table about Lexi, and you can see out here on the side that is highlighted in the yellow, those are your categories: summer and winter, male and female. So we've got seasons and then we have gender. And you can read one by being able to read from left to right or up and down. So if I read from left to right, I can find out, well, how many males do I have in this case and how many females do I have? So if I look at it here, I have males. I have 23 males like summer, 27 males like winter. It tells me here that the males really don't care. They're back and forth about what season they like, and so forth. But I can also see if I put 23 and 27 together, it's going to end up telling me that I have 50 males. If I put the females together, I can see that 35 females like summer, 15 females like winter. I can put them together and it tells me that, I've interviewed 50 females as well. Okay? If I read from running downward, I can see here that summer and for males and females, and if I put those together, that's going to tell me how many people like the summer. So in this case, I know that 58 people enjoyed the summer. If I look down here for the winter, I can add those together and it says 42. And what that tells me here is that not only do females enjoy summer more than males, but also I can see in a total amount, more people enjoy the summer than they do the winter in this case. Okay? What else does this tell me? Well, it tells me exactly this. This part right here in the pink, this pink box, is going to add up to be the same. 50 and 50 is 100. 58 and 42 is 100. So my total amount should always add up. So when I go add these two numbers together, it should match adding the other two numbers together as well. And now that I've got kind of filled in, I can answer some questions. And I can just answer them down through here as you can see. How many males were surveyed? Well, it tells me the total was 50. How many females? Well, that was 50 also. How many total people were surveyed? Well, that's 100. I can just by reading straight down. How many people said they prefer summer? Well, that's straight up and down. Find the summer category and look down. Well, that's 58 people like summer. How many people prefer winter? There's my winter category, straight down 42. How many females said they prefer winter? Well, how many females said winter? 15. And how many males said they prefer summer? That's easy enough, 23. So that's kind of what I'm looking at right there. All right. If I can look at number 2, this number 2 is a little bit different. I give you a table of chart, and you have to be able to fill these in and take a gander what we've got. So we're comparing a 1-story to a 2-story, and to see if you live in a 1-story or 2-story house, and if you have siblings or no siblings at all. Siblings, a brother and sister, and no siblings. So we can take this and we can fill in what we've known based off this chart. So you can see here that we have siblings, a Y for yes, N for no, 1 or 2-story, 1 for 1-story, 2 for 2 stories, and you can be able to figure out as we go forward in this case. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to look here. I'm going to check the ones for a 1-story house. So let's look at here, 1-story house and siblings. So I've got 1 here, got 1 there. I've got 2, 3, 4, and that's it. Look there. So I've got 4 people live in a 1-story house and have siblings. Okay, I'm ready to do the next one. Move on to the next one. If I do the next one here, 2-story house and have siblings. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I got 7 there. That's a yes and a 2. So then I'm going to look at the next one. No siblings and live in a 1-story house. So when I do that here, I've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then when I do the next one here, I should obviously, when I count the ones, 2-story house and no siblings, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there's my information there. So now I can see here people who have siblings. Well, I add them together, it gives me 11. So 11 people I asked to have siblings. And then if I want to know how many people don't have siblings, 4 and 3, tell me 7. How many people live in a 1-story house? 4 and 4 give me 8. How many people live in a 2-story house? It's 10. 7 and 3 give me 10. And when I add them together, 11 and 7 and 8 and 10, they both give me 18. So that is the total amount of people who I've talked to. And I can answer these questions. How many people surveyed live in a 2-story home? Well, how many people live in a 2-story home? Well, here they are, 2 stories, 7 and 3, give me 10 people. Of the people with siblings, how many answered that they live in a 2-story house? So siblings, 2-story house, they match up right there at 7. How many people surveyed did not have siblings? Okay, well, how many people did not have siblings? Well, here's no siblings, 4 and 3, give me 7. And I have solved those questions. Pretty straightforward like that. Okay. We flip the page over here. This is kind of another one here again, a group of middle school kids and about their types of things. And you've got your different types of graphs here. You've got some here about video games is V, sports is S, and neither is N. And it tells you your grades, 6th, 7th, and 8th. And I want to fill in my information here as I go forward. So I'm just going to go through here and find out, okay, I can be able to figure out how many people like video games in the 6th grade. So if I went through here, there's 1, 2, 3, let's see here, make sure I get them 4. In that case, so I got 4 kids in the 6th grade that like video games. If I do the same thing again with 6th grade, 7th grade who like video games, if I do that through here, I'll see that I'll end up finding 1 and 2. And if I do 8th grade, I do the same thing, I'll end up finding 7. And if I add those together, it will tell me how many people like video games, which will be 13. Okay? For time and instance, just to figure out the rest of them, the 6th grade people who like sports, I found were 6. 7th grade were 7 and 5. Add those together, I get a grand total of 18. People who like neither would be 1, 3, and 1. Add those together, I get 5. Well, how many 6th grade kids did I interview? So 4, 6, and 1 give me 11. Add the 7th grade row, gives me 12. If I add the 8th grade row, it gives me 13. And if I add this up, and then I add this up, they both will give me 36. So that is my total amount to make this two-way table right there. So just another results that you can say. And then if they were to ask you questions, you could ask, well, how many people like video games? 13. How many 6th graders were there? 11. How many 7th graders were there that like neither? 3. And you can answer some questions off of that table. Okay. All right, so number 4 is the last one again, just 4 and 5. So these are a little bit different. You have a blanks, and you kind of have to work back and forth to be able to solve these as we move. So when you look at these, basically we can be able to take a look. You have your 2 tables there. You got pancakes and waffles, right-handed and left-handed. You're going to be able to solve these questions as you move forward. So in this case here, you have, okay, I have pancakes, and my total is 58, and I know 23. So what can I use 58 and 23 to get this answer? Well, if I added these two to get 58, I'm going to need to subtract those two to find out what I got. So I'm going to subtract those, and when I do that, I end up getting 35. Let's fill in another one here. Well, let's see here. I can't do this one because I don't know this answer, and I don't know that. But I do know these because I have these two, and I can find that. So I know 23 plus blank gives me 50. What could I do to not find 50? It's going to be 50 minus 23, and when I do that there, I get my answer to be 27. Okay. Then after that, I can be able to take my answers and figure out the rest of it here as we move forward and solve those. So I have 35 and 15. It's going to give me 50. And I got 27 and 15. Oh, do you need me for a And I get 42. All right. So I got 42 right there, and I'm done. And I can be able to answer these things right here. It gives me 100. That's pretty much it. Okay. Number 5 is kind of the exact same way as well. I can look here and see I can get those right there. So that gives me 50. So if I need to know how do I get those, subtract those two. 54. Add these two together to get a total. I can add these two together to get me a total. I can subtract those two to get me what I need to find out. 100 minus 59. Add them all up. And there's what I have. So once again, since I'm missing this one here, I just subtract. 90 from 36 gives me 54. Subtracted from 100 minus 59 gives me 41, and so forth. Now I can be able to answer my questions here. Use the tables to answer A and C. So here we go. How many left-handed people said they like pancakes than waffles? So how many left-handed people said they like pancakes than waffles? So if I have left-handed people here, they like pancakes than waffles. How many more? So 35 people like pancakes, 15 people like waffles. So how many more would that be? Well, that's going to be 20. Number B was how many more brunette people say they prefer the beach to the mountains? So how many brunette people said they like the beach to the mountains? So here's the brunette people. Beach to the mountains. So if I just take those, I have 58 and I have 42. And basically what I have there. I want to know how many more. And I'm going to subtract. It tells me 16. And then the last one, how many more, which means the subtraction, right-handed people said they prefer waffles than left-handed people. So how many right-handed people like waffles? 27. How many left-handed people like waffles? 15. How many more right-handed people like waffles than left-handed people? Well, if I take that and I subtract 27 from 15, I end up getting 12. And so 12 is my solution there for that one. All right. Hopefully these notes here will be able to help you to answer the rest of these questions here. So take your time with them and be able to answer the next couple of questions you've got. And you can turn those in and you'll be glad to go and you'll be good to go from there. Thank you very much.